Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at someone who's had a pretty interesting career in Umberto Di Fabrizio.
Yeah.
We've got his resume here,
hmm
and I'm already seeing someone who doesn't shy away from a challenge.
What I find really interesting is just how early on that starts to show up.
Yeah.
Like even back in his university days,
Right.
he wasn't just focused on coursework. He was publishing research
Wow.
on dynamic network analysis.
Yeah. That's
Pretty complex stuff to be tackling that early.
It really is.
Yeah.
And like double master's degrees
Oh, yeah?
in computer science and computer engineering,
Mm.
both with top marks.
Yeah,
I mean, that already tells you
absolutely.
that this is someone who sets high standards for himself.
Definitely.
Makes you wonder what drives someone like that.
Well, it could be that intellectual curiosity. The kind of person who doesn't just want to know the what, but the why behind things.
Right.
And that kind of mindset. That's often what separates a good engineer
Yeah.
from a great one.
It makes you think about all of the different paths
Yeah.
someone with that foundation could have taken.
Right.
But his first industry role was at Thousand Eyes
Interesting.
as a software engineer,
Okay.
which was later acquired by Cisco.
Makes sense.
So you could say
Yeah.
he got thrown right into the deep end of the tech world.
Absolutely no easing in there.
Yeah.
Straight into the deep end.
And it looks like instead of just treading water,
Uh-huh.
he went for a deep dive.
He did.
He wasn't content with just doing the assigned tasks.
Yeah.
He was optimizing algorithms,
Uh-huh.
cleaning up legacy code,
Hmm.
even started experimenting with micro front-end architecture,
Oh, wow.
basically finding ways to improve things wherever he could.
That's a good sign.
Okay, so hold on. Let's break that down for a second.
Sure.
Micro front-end architecture.
Yeah.
For those of us who aren't fluent in tech speak,
Uh-huh.
what does that even mean? And why would someone in his position care about that?
Imagine a website or an app like Amazon.
Okay.
It's massive. Right?
Yeah, huge.
So micro front ends are a way of breaking down that complex structure into smaller, more manageable chunks.
Okay.
And that way each team can work on their own little mini site independently,
Right.
which can make development faster, more efficient.
Oh, I see.
And for someone like Umberto, who clearly likes things to run smoothly,
Yeah.
it's no surprise he was drawn to that kind of approach.
So it's not just about being a coding whiz.
Yeah.
It's about seeing the big picture,
Ah,
how to make the whole system work better.
exactly.
That's fascinating.
It is.
But here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
From Thousand Eyes, he jumps to Boom Image Studio.
Interesting.
And within just over a year, he's gone from software engineer to
Wow.
director of engineering.
That's a pretty steep climb.
It is, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty big jump.
It's a sign of serious leadership potential.
Yeah.
But more than that, it suggests he was making a real impact, contributing in a way that got noticed.
Right.
It's not just about moving up the ladder.
Yeah.
It's about proving you can handle the responsibility at each level.
Makes you wonder what it was like at Boom Image Studio.
Yeah,
They were a startup, right?
I believe so.
What kind of challenges do you think he would face leading a team in that environment?
Well, startups are all about rapid growth.
Right.
So I imagine a lot of his focus
Yeah.
would have been on building the team itself, finding the right people,
Yeah.
making sure they could work together effectively.
Right.
And then there's the whole challenge of building a product from scratch, figuring out the tech stack,
Right.
implementing best practices like testing, continuous integration and delivery,
Right.
code reviews.
Well, those crucial elements
Yeah,
that make a software product actually work
Right.
in the real world.
absolutely.
So it sounds like controlled chaos,
Huh?
but in a good way.
Yes, in the best way possible.
And on top of all that,
Mm-hmm.
he also took on product responsibilities,
Right.
eventually becoming the director of product and engineering.
Interesting.
So not just the tech side,
Yeah.
but the whole vision of what they were building.
Wow.
That's quite a shift, isn't it?
It suggests he wasn't content with just being a tech expert.
Right.
He wanted to understand the bigger picture,
Yeah.
how the technology fit into the overall business goals,
Yeah.
how to connect the engineering work
Yeah.
with what users actually needed.
It's interesting, right?
It is.
Because that kind of broad perspective
Mhm.
is essential for anyone who wants to lead in the tech space.
Absolutely.
It's not enough to just be brilliant with code.
Right.
You have to understand how that code translates into real world value.
Exactly.
All right. So he's proven himself as an engineer,
Yeah.
as a leader,
Mm.
even dipping his toes into the product side of things.
Yeah.
You get the feeling this guy is just getting started, right?
Definitely seems that way.
But next he makes another move.
Okay.
this time to TUI Musement as head of engineering.
Right.
And this is where we really start to see him scale things up.
Yep.
Now, he's not just leading a team.
Right.
He's leading an entire engineering department,
Wow.
reporting directly to the CTO,
Mm-hmm.
and the scale is impressive.
Yeah.
He walks into a team of 35 engineers,
Okay.
and by the time he leaves, it's grown to 50.
That's significant growth.
There's a whole different level of responsibility.
Absolutely.
You've got to create systems, processes,
Yeah.
a whole culture that can support that kind of growth.
It's a different ballgame.
You'd think with that kind of expansion,
Yeah.
you'd see people burning out left and right.
It happens.
But his resume actually says he reduced turnover by 30%.
Wow.
What's the secret sauce there?
Hard to say for sure.
What's he doing that other companies aren't?
It could be a lot of things.
Yeah.
Creating a strong sense of purpose,
Okay.
offering opportunities for professional development,
Mm-hmm.
fostering a supportive and collaborative work environment.
Right.
Or maybe it's something as simple as making sure people feel heard and valued.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's clearly working.
And it's not just happy employees, right?
Right.
There are some pretty impressive technical achievements in this period, too.
Okay.
Like implementing a company-wide observability strategy using Datadog.
Interesting.
Okay, time for another breakdown.
Sure.
What is observability in this context?
So,
It sounds a bit like Big Brother is watching,
right.
but I'm guessing it's more nuanced than that.
It's more like having a really detailed dashboard
Okay,
for your entire system.
right.
Imagine being able to see the health and performance of every single piece of your software, from the front-end website to the back-end servers, all in real time.
Wow.
That's what observability tools like Datadog provide.
So it's about making sure things are running smoothly,
Yeah.
spotting problems before they become major issues. And Umberto's resume actually quantifies the impact of this initiative.
Oh, wow.
A 4% reduction in lost revenue
That's significant.
and a significant decrease in the time it took to detect and address incidents.
Wow, that's huge.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Especially for a company like PUI Musement, which relies heavily on its digital platforms.
Absolutely.
So he's building a great team,
Mm-hmm.
making sure everything's running smoothly,
Right.
and saving the company money in the process.
Pretty impressive.
You start to see why he keeps getting these bigger and bigger roles, right?
Yeah, it's a clear pattern.
It's like he's mastered this blend of technical skill and leadership,
Yeah.
and now he's ready to take on even bigger challenges.
What's really interesting is how he seems to be drawn to these roles where he can really build something,
Mhm.
shape the direction of an entire engineering organization.
Right.
He's not just content with maintaining the status quo.
Yeah.
He's looking for places where he can make a real difference.
And that brings us to his next move, which is to V7 Labs as engineering manager.
Got it.
This is where he really gets to flex those observability muscles,
Yeah.
taking everything he learned at TUI Musement and pushing it even further.
So what's he doing there?
Implementing the Grafana stack,
Oh, wow.
improving front-end alert handling,
Okay.
significantly reducing MTTD,
Mm-hmm.
mean time to detect.
Right.
It's like he's obsessed with making sure nothing slips through the cracks.
Seems that way.
Hang on, let's unpack that a bit.
Sure.
What's Grafana stack, and why is it important for someone in his position?
Think of it like a superpowered dashboard for all your technical data.
Okay.
It pulls information from all sorts of sources
Hmm.
and visualizes it in a way that's easy to understand.
All right.
And for someone responsible for the health and performance of a system,
Yeah.
it's an invaluable tool.
Oh, I see.
It's like having X-ray vision into all the inner workings of your technology.
So it's not just about fixing things when they break.
Right.
It's about anticipating problems, seeing the warning signs
No.
before things go haywire.
Exactly.
And by improving front-end alert handling,
Yeah.
he's making sure those warnings are loud and clear, right?
No more missed signal.
No more missed signals.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's focusing on reducing MTTD, the
Mhm.
time it takes to detect problems, shows he's all about speed and efficiency.
It's like he's built this early warning system
Right.
that can spot trouble brewing
Yeah.
before it even becomes a full-blown fire.
So we've seen him go from optimizing code
Yeah.
to leading teams to building entire engineering departments.
That's quite a journey.
It's clear this guy is a powerhouse in the tech world.
He's definitely made a mark.
But what I'm really curious about is what makes him tick.
Yeah.
What drives someone to constantly push themselves,
That's a good question.
take on these bigger and bigger challenges?
Right.
We'll dig into that more in the next part of our deep dive,
Sounds good.
where we'll look at some specific examples of his accomplishments and try to unpack the secrets behind his success.
Looking forward to it.
All right.
All right. Let's shift gears a bit and zoom back in on his time at Boom Image Studio.
Okay.
You mentioned they were a startup,
Right.
and his resume actually highlights that he played a key role in taking them from pre-seed funding
Wow.
all the way to Series A,
That's impressive.
raising a cool $11 million along the way.
Yeah, and to think he was their director of engineering during that whole period,
It's a lot of pressure.
it really is.
Yeah.
Not only are you building the technology, you're also trying to prove to investors that this whole thing is actually going somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And his resume gives us a glimpse into what that must have been like.
Yeah.
Building and leading cross-functional teams, aligning everyone around these things called OKRs,
Okay.
which stands for Objectives and Key Results.
Right.
A way to track progress towards big goals.
Okay.
And even getting his hands dirty with deep learning algorithms for enhancing photos. It's clear he wasn't just sitting in a corner office.
Yeah.
He was right there in the trenches with his team.
So it wasn't just about being a manager.
Nope.
It was about being a leader who could inspire and motivate people
Yeah.
to achieve something really ambitious.
Absolutely.
You have to have a certain kind of energy to thrive in that kind of environment.
And a certain level of technical depth, too.
Right.
I mean, deep learning algorithms are not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, those are complicated.
They require a solid understanding of math, statistics, and computer science.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that he was able to not just manage,
Mm-hmm.
but also contribute on that level is
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
It's like he was a conductor leading an orchestra, making sure all the different instruments were playing in harmony to create something beautiful.
I like that analogy.
But let's be honest.
Sure.
Startups can be messy.
Oh, yeah.
Things move fast, priorities change,
Mhm.
and there's always pressure to deliver.
Always.
How do you think he managed to keep everything on track,
Well,
especially as the team grew?
his resume mentions implementing best practices like testing,
Okay.
Scrum CI/CD,
Yeah. Huh?
continuous integration and continuous delivery,
Right.
and code reviews.
So basically creating a framework that allowed the team to move fast without breaking things.
Exactly.
Let's break that down for a second.
Okay.
CI/CD.
Yeah.
What does that even mean in plain English?
Imagine you're building a car.
Right.
Instead of building the whole thing at once and then hoping it works,
Right.
you build it piece by piece,
Okay.
testing each part along the way.
I see.
That's essentially what CI/CD does for software.
Got it.
It's about automating the process of building, testing, and deploying code
Oh, okay.
so that you can release new features quickly and reliably.
So it's not just about writing code.
Right.
It's about building a whole system for creating and delivering that code efficiently.
Exactly.
It's like setting up an assembly line for software development.
That's a good way to put it.
And it's crucial for startups that need to iterate quickly and adapt to changing market conditions.
Absolutely.
Umberto clearly understood the importance of setting up that kind of foundation,
It seems so.
even in the early stages of a company's growth.
That foresight probably played a big part in his success at TUI Amusement, too.
Yeah, remember, he scaled that team from 35 to 50 engineers, and at the same time reduced turnover by a whopping 30%.
That's incredible.
That's like the holy grail of tech leadership, right?
It is.
Growing fast without burning people out.
It speaks to his ability to create a culture where people feel supported,
Yeah,
challenged, and valued.
right.
His resume mentions a few things that likely contributed to this.
Okay.
Things like reorganizing the engineering department, designing a career ladder, and establishing leadership programs.
So he was creating a structure that not only allowed for growth,
Yeah.
but also nurtured the individuals within the team.
It sounds like he was really intentional about creating an environment where people could thrive.
Right. It wasn't just about throwing more bodies at the problem.
Yeah.
It was about investing in the people who were already there
Exactly.
and giving them the tools and support they needed to succeed.
And that's not just good for morale.
Right.
It's good for the bottom line, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
When people feel valued and empowered,
Yeah.
they're more likely to be engaged and productive.
And that translates into better results for the company.
Exactly.
Okay, let's talk about this observability thing again.
Sure.
We touched on it earlier.
Yeah.
But it seems like this was a major focus for him at TUI Amusement.
Okay.
His resume mentions using Datadog to implement a company-wide observability strategy,
Right.
which led to a 4% reduction in lost revenue.
That's huge.
Can you break down what that actually means in practice? So how does observability translate into cold, hard cash?
Imagine you're running an online store
Okay.
and your website suddenly crashes.
Oh,
Every minute that your site is down, you're losing potential customers and sales.
that's a nightmare.
Now imagine you had a system
Yeah.
that could not only detect that crash immediately,
Okay.
but also help you pinpoint the exact cause
Right.
so you could fix it quickly.
So it's like having a team of experts constantly monitoring your entire system, looking for any signs of trouble, and then swooping in to fix things before they cause major damage.
That's a great way to put it.
And that's what Umberto was able to achieve at TUI Amusement
Right.
by implementing a robust observability strategy.
Yeah,
He essentially created an early warning system
exactly.
that could detect and resolve issues before they had a significant impact on the business.
And that 4% reduction in lost revenue is a testament to the value of that approach.
It's amazing how something that seems so technical
Yeah.
can have such a direct impact on a company's bottom line.
It really highlights the importance of having leaders who understand both the technology and the business side of things.
Right. They can see the connections that others might miss.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just about reacting to problems.
Yeah.
Observability also allows you to proactively optimize your systems, identify bottlenecks,
Right.
and make sure everything is running as smoothly as possible.
So it's about taking a holistic view of your technology
Yeah,
and making sure it's working in harmony with your business goals.
exactly.
So he's building a strong team,
Yep.
implementing best practices, creating a culture of excellence, and saving the company money through smart use of technology.
He's ticking all the boxes.
You start to see why he's in such high demand, right?
Absolutely.
He's not just a tech guy.
Yeah.
He's a strategic leader who understands how to leverage technology
Yeah.
to achieve real-world results.
And that's a key takeaway for anyone listening who's interested in a career in tech leadership.
What do you mean?
It's not enough to just be good at coding.
Right.
You have to be able to think strategically,
Okay.
understand the bigger picture,
Mm-hmm.
and communicate effectively with both technical and non-technical stakeholders.
Okay, let's talk about something else that jumped out at me from his time at TUI Amusement.
Sure.
The shift towards trunk-based development and continuous delivery.
Okay.
His resume mentions reducing the development cycle time from 3 days to 2 hours.
Wow, that's a dramatic improvement.
What does that even mean for a company like TUI Amusement?
It means they can release new features and updates much faster,
Okay.
which is crucial in today's competitive digital landscape.
Okay, but for those of us who don't live and breathe software development,
Right.
can you break down what trunk-based development and continuous delivery actually mean? It sounds a bit like something out of a science fiction movie.
Imagine you're writing a book with a team of authors.
Okay.
In the traditional model, each author might work on their own chapter in isolation,
Right.
and then at the end you try to stitch it all together.
Yeah.
That can lead to all sorts of problems.
Oh, I bet.
Inconsistencies, conflicting storylines, and a lot of back and forth to try to make everything fit.
Right. Sounds messy.
Trunk-based development is like saying, let's all work on the same document from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's changes are constantly being integrated,
Mm-hmm.
and you're constantly testing and refining the story as you go.
So it's about collaboration,
Yeah.
making sure everyone's on the same page
Uh-huh.
and avoiding those big, messy integration headaches at the end.
Exactly. And continuous delivery is the next step.
Okay.
It's about automating the process of releasing those changes to the public
Right.
so that you can get new features and updates into the hands of users
Yeah.
as quickly and safely as possible.
So it's like having a conveyor belt that's constantly moving new code
Yeah.
from the developer's computers to the live website or app.
Right.
No more waiting weeks or months for a big release,
Yeah.
just a constant stream of improvements.
Exactly.
And Umberto was able to implement that at TUI Amusement.
That's right. He saw the potential of these modern development methodologies
Wow.
and had the leadership skills to implement them effectively.
And the results speak for themselves. A dramatic reduction in development time and a more agile and responsive engineering organization.
It's clear this guy is not afraid to shake things up, to challenge the status quo, and push for better ways of working.
Right. And that brings us to his current role at V7 Labs, where he's continuing to innovate and push the boundaries of what's possible in the world of tech.
Okay.
But before we dive into that, I think it's worth taking a moment to reflect on what we've learned so far.
What stands out to you?
What strikes me is how intentional he's been throughout his career.
Yeah.
He's not just jumping from job to job.
Right.
He's actively seeking out opportunities where he can learn, grow, and make a real impact.
That's a good point.
And he's doing it by combining his technical expertise with a deep understanding of people and organizations.
It's a powerful combination.
It's a reminder that success in the tech world is not just about technical brilliance.
Yeah.
It's about being a well-rounded individual who can lead, inspire, and build something truly great.
Absolutely. Now let's see what he's been up to at V7 Labs and what lessons we can glean from this next chapter in his career journey.
Okay.
We'll dive into that in the final part of our deep dive.
So we've seen how Umberto's career is this incredible blend of technical expertise, leadership,
Yeah.
and a knack for always being ahead of the curve.
Seems that way.
But I think what our listeners really want to know is what are the takeaways here? What can we learn from this guy's journey that we can apply to our own careers?
Well, I think one of the biggest lessons is that continuous learning is not just a buzzword.
Yeah,
It's a way of life.
it's true.
Umberto's resume is basically a testament to the idea that you're never done learning, especially in the tech world.
It's like he's always got that beginner's mind,
Yeah.
eager to explore new things, even when he's already an expert.
Right. And it's not just about formal education.
Right.
It's about constantly seeking out new knowledge.
Yeah.
Whether it's through online courses, industry events, or just reading everything you can get your hands on.
So it's about being willing to dive deep into complex topics,
Yeah.
not being afraid to get your hands dirty with the technical details.
You remember his early work on dynamic network analysis?
Yeah.
That kind of foundation and core concepts is invaluable as you move into more specialized areas.
It's like he built this mental toolkit, and he's constantly adding new tools and sharpening the ones he already has.
Exactly.
So continuous learning, check.
Sure.
Chin, what else stands out to you as a key takeaway?
I'd say the ability to take initiative.
Okay.
Umberto doesn't wait for opportunities to fall into his lap.
Right.
He creates them.
Yeah, he seems to be very proactive.
Whether it's optimizing algorithms early in his career,
Mm-hmm.
implementing best practices,
Yeah.
or spearheading those observability initiatives,
Right.
he's always looking for ways to add value and make a difference.
It's like he's got this internal radar that's always scanning for problems to solve.
Yeah.
Inefficiencies to eliminate,
Right.
things that can be improved.
And it's not just about being busy.
Right?
It's about being strategic.
Okay.
He's taking initiative
Mm-hmm.
in areas that align with his skills and interests
Mm-hmm.
and that ultimately contribute to the success of the organizations he's working with.
Makes you think about that quote,
good.
the difference between being a thermostat and a thermometer.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that one.
A thermometer just reflects the temperature of its surroundings,
Right.
but a thermostat actually changes the temperature.
Exactly.
Umberto's definitely a thermostat.
He
He's
is.
not just observing, he's actively shaping the environment around him.
That's a great analogy.
So continuous learning and taking initiative, those are two big ones.
Absolutely.
But I think there's another element here that's crucial,
Okay.
especially for aspiring leaders,
What's that?
the ability to empower your team.
Oh, absolutely.
Umberto's not just a brilliant individual contributor.
Right.
He's also someone who understands how to bring out the best in others.
Remember those initiatives at TUI Musement? The career ladder, the leadership programs, the restructuring of the engineering department.
Right.
Those weren't just about improving efficiency. They were about investing in people
Yeah.
and creating a workplace where everyone felt valued and had the opportunity to grow.
It's like he's creating this positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
He empowers his team. They achieve great results,
Right.
which in turn gives them more opportunities to learn and grow.
And that benefits everyone,
Right.
the individuals, the team, and the organization as a whole.
It's a reminder that leadership is not just about having a fancy title or giving orders. It's about creating an environment where people can thrive and do their best work.
And it's about recognizing that investing in your team
Yeah.
is just as important as investing in technology.
So we've got continuous learning, taking initiative, and empowering your team. Those are three powerful takeaways from Umberto's journey.
For sure.
But there's one more thing I want to touch on.
Okay.
His focus on connecting technology to real-world impact.
That's crucial.
Umberto's not just building tech for tech's sake.
Right.
He's always thinking about how to leverage technology to solve problems,
Yeah.
improve efficiency, and ultimately deliver value to the business and its customers.
Like his work with observability.
Exactly.
It's a technical discipline.
Yeah.
But he clearly understands how it translates into tangible business benefits. Reduced downtime, faster incident resolution, and a better experience for users.
It's like he's got this superpower.
Uh-huh.
The ability to see the invisible threads that connect the technical world to the world of business and human experience.
And that's such a valuable skill in today's world,
It really is.
where technology is so deeply intertwined with every aspect of our lives.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
what's the one big takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I think it's this: success in the tech world is not just about technical brilliance.
Yeah.
It's about combining that brilliance with a growth mindset,
Mm-hmm.
a proactive approach, and a passion for making a real-world impact.
Beautifully said. Umberto's journey is a powerful reminder that with the right combination of skills,
Yeah,
attitude, and dedication,
absolutely.
you can achieve remarkable things in the ever-evolving world of technology.
And remember, it's not a destination, it's a journey.
That's a good point.
Embrace the challenges. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
That's a wrap on this deep dive into the career of Umberto Di Fabrizio.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.